I'm Alex Cheparev, and welcome to Crashing Maya. Hey guys, so in this episode we'll work on his waist, and maybe we can get to his legs. Let's just get started. So, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to use the geometry that we created for the whole body, for the waist, so I don't have to make new geometry. And I don't want to use what's there now, so I'm going to duplicate, and then I'm just going to hide the rest. So I'm going to select this, Control H. So we have this left. Now I'm going to turn on my drawing and just see where the waist is, because it kind of matches what we actually made in 3D. So I'm going to just make a cut here and here. What I'm doing is I'm going to isolate this area. So I don't need the arms here, the legs, the head, that. And then from the side view, let's turn this off. Select this, that. Now we just double click here and do the same on the bottom. Okay, so let's actually bring back this and see if we have too much, too little. And I can see that maybe we have too much, so I'm just going to, I want some overlap, but not that much. That just means more things to worry about. So we want to try and reduce the amount of work we have to do. Okay, so let's hide that back. Alright, so I can see there's some geometry here that's kind of there, so we'll delete that. And now I'm going to delete all of the horizontal lines. Just holding shift and double clicking them like this, and I'm going to hit delete, but not control delete. This way you'll leave all these vertices, because if we delete these vertices, you can see the line pops back. So we don't want that. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this to draw the bands on. So I'm going to clear history. I'm going to save because we can lose stuff, so this is going to be important so we don't lose anything. And I'm going to start maybe here, and then I'm just going to, you actually don't have to click on anything, you can click just in the middle, and I'm going to just kind of make some jaggedy loops. And you can be very loose with this. It'll look more natural that way. Whoops. And if you want to undo it, just hit backspace or delete, and it will undo one point at a time. So to finish, we're going to finish on an edge and then right click. I like to do that just in case it messes up. Sometimes it won't do it because we clicked something wrong, so I don't want to have to finish this whole thing. So I'll just stop in the middle somewhere and then continue. Whoops, undo. Be careful here, so I'm gonna slow down a little. And let's finish up one more time and then continue again. Okay, so when we get to the end here, just be a little careful. And we'll stop like that, and then delete this So basically this is our wrap, and then on the bottom here we need to do the same. So actually we'll do that. That way we have a line there. We can delete that. Now all we need to do to clean this up is select all of the vertices, control select this one, and control click this one, and just hit delete. This will delete any of the stranded vertices and give us a nice clean shape, and you can see it's uneven and good, like it was wrapped by hand. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use insert edge loop tool, and I'm going to add a line equal distant, just like this, just a little bit of a space. And I'm going to click this face and then shift double click the face next to it. This will go all the way around and select all those faces, and then just hit delete. This will delete them. And now what we'll have is a ribbon that wraps all the way around. So we can actually test. If I select this face and double click this one, it should grab the whole thing because it's wrapping all the way around. So the next thing, I'm going to select this edge here. I'm going to use select contiguous edges. So select contiguous edges. You can also drop it into your shelf. Now if you forgot how to do that, you hold Control Shift and click on any menu item, and it will be added to your shelf. So this should select all of the edges here on top. And now let's see, if I were to wrap this, I'd probably wrap from the bottom up. So that means it would overlap. It doesn't really matter. I'm just going to click Transform Component. It's also under Edit Mesh, Transform Components. And you grab the Z arrow, blue arrow, and just slightly move it. And what this will do is it will offset. So if you look from the side, you can see what it does. See, it'll offset the wrapping as if it was overlapping where it's meeting, like this. See? Okay, so now I'm gonna clear history, and then I'm going to extrude. Click extrude, and grab the blue arrow and just move it, give it a thickness, and I want to make it thick enough that it overlaps just a little bit, not too much, like that. Good. Then I'm going to select this face and double click the face next to it. This will select the whole loop without the top and bottom. I'm going to then shift select everything. You can also just right click and click invert. This will only select the faces, the new faces that we created when we extruded without these faces at the end. And now all we have to do is click extrude again and grab the blue arrow again and drag it enough that it overlaps, enough that there's no space. So now if we subdivide, you can see what we just made. It's nice wrapping. It conforms to the body we modeled previously. It looks pretty good and wasn't a lot of work. I also want to delete the faces here at the end. We don't need them, and if we delete them, it's just less things to UV. Just keep it a tube. And then I'm going to press 3 for subdivision preview, select this point, and just move it back. These edges, I'm double clicking on the edges here, just so that it doesn't go through. And same on this side. Subdivision preview, which is 3, and then I'm just going to tuck this in. We're not going to see it, so it doesn't really matter, but I like to be nice and consistent. Okay, that looks good. All right. So let's bring everything back and see what it looks like. There it is. Now we see the body showing through. That's okay, because once we're done, we actually don't need the body inside the clothes. It's good to have it when we're modeling, but once we're done we don't need it. So in the meantime we'll keep it, but eventually we'll get rid of it. But that looks pretty good. And then if we turn on this, we can see the detail a little better. Let's turn on that as well. By the way, if you want to see a better quality in your Maya, all you have to do is just make sure you're in Viewport 2.0, open the options for it. You can go to anti-aliasing settings, set this to the maximum. You can also smooth wireframe if you want, but turning the anti-aliasing on, it basically softens the lines. See? It's kind of hard to tell, but it tries. And this turns on fake ambient occlusion, which it works pretty okay, but not great. Let's just see the details a little more. Okay, so let's turn that off, but it also makes it a little slower. Alright, so the legs. Let's look at the drawing and see what those look like. So I'm not sure. The legs, are the feet wrapped as well? Maybe. I don't know. Let's do it. Let's start at the ankles and then we'll decide about the feet later. Maybe they're not wrapped. So let's bring that back. Okay, so let's do that. I only need to work on one leg, so I'm going to duplicate this out. Select that, delete. And I just want to hide this and bring this back. Alright. Now, there's not a lot of geometry here for us to work with, so I'm going to subdivide once. Make sure this is clean cut edge. Select this leg, click subdivide, so now we'll have more edges to work with. And then I don't want to worry about this. I'm going to delete that, delete this. Okay, so that should be a good start. And let's see how far we have to go. I would like to go just up to here. Let's leave a little more. I want to see where the bend is. If we delete the rest of the body and just have the bandages, I kind of want to see where the bend is. It'll be easier for rigging. Okay, so this is a good start for us. Let's hide everything else. And let's do this. So first, I don't need these horizontal lines. Another way to select all of these, you can do this. You can select this edge here, hold Control, right click, and then go to where is that? I forgot how to get to that. Well, I forgot where the selection thing is. Oh well, you can go to select and convert selection to edge ring. This will select all of the edges parallel to each other, and then we can deselect this, and then we can do contiguous edges, or you can also just convert the selection to select and convert selection to edge loop, and then hit delete. This will delete all of the horizontal edge loops, leaving the vertical ones, and then we can use that to redraw. And then I just want to see the kind of detail we're working in. Okay, so if I start here, then we can go up. these bands are much thicker than the ones on the waist. Okay, it's getting tricky selecting. The thing is, you don't want to go through what you already drew, even if it's behind, because that's when Maya starts to freak out. See, as long as you keep it below, you're fine. Let's see. Oops. Let's finish that and see what that looks like. It may be okay. Alright, let's just keep going. Okay, so now let's select everything. Select these corners here, click delete. Let's see what that looks like. Looks like that. So if this happens, we just need to fix. Okay. So I'm going to do this like that, and then on this side delete that triangle, and let's see, I also don't want to have. Okay, so the process is going to be the same. I'm going to insert edge loop like that. There. And then we'll select this edge and do contiguous edges. Now sometimes it won't go all the way through because the angle is not right. But if you open up the options for it, so there's a minimum and maximum. So if we select this edge and click this and see if that works. So that's not enough, so let's increase. And now you can see, so basically at the limit for the selection is 30 degrees by default. So if we set it to something higher, it should go all the way around, and it did. And just make sure you reset this and click apply again. This way it will keep the default settings in, because those work the best, I think. Alright, so then we can select this, click transform component, and just do that a little bit more. Okay, clear history, let's extrude. Where's our blue arrow? Make sure we get a good overlap. Okay. Double click, invert, and then extrude again. So the reason we're extruding again is it gives us a bevel, and also it fills in the gap, and the bevel keeps the edges nice and sharp. Okay, let's delete this, we don't need that, and the same on the bottom. And that's what it looks like. I feel like well, let's look at the whole thing. You know, it's not bad, but I feel like it should be facing down. Don't know why. I feel like because we had it overlap this way, it means it started from the top. I think it would be better if it started at the bottom and then wrapped around. So let's undo a few times. And what we'll do is we'll start here. Select that. Oh, let's change the options. That. Make sure we got everything. And now we'll do transform component. Like that. That's gonna be better. Alright, let's extrude. Invert, and then extrude again. There it is. And I actually want to tuck this inside. Let's rotate a little. And the same with this one. Just going to tuck it in like this. Okay. Okay, I feel like I like it better like this. Okay, and I'm going to duplicate, flip to the other side, -1, like that. And modify freeze. Alright, so now we still have to do the hands, but I feel like we should do a separate episode for that. It's going to be a little more difficult. I do want to add these skull pins, and I actually modeled one already. Let me see if I have it. Shift P. There it is. And what we're going to do is we're going to make another one, but slightly different, because all three are slightly different. I feel like it's nice. It would be nice to have them a little bit, have them differ from each other. So by modeling them individually, it would, I think, help. So I'm gonna make a cube. Bring it here. Press 3, and if I press 5, I can just kind of scale it into the shape of the skull. Actually, like this. Okay, so we'll scale it like that. And then I'm going to use just the individual vertices and just kind of shape it like that. there. And I want to make another one, so I'm gonna do the same and change this one slightly. Make them all slightly different. Okay. I'm going to turn wireframe on shaded so we can see what we're doing. I'm going to subdivide once and then subdivide one more time. Clear history. Okay. Now we can do the eyes. This. So once you figure out where the eyes go, you just want to draw, find the vertex that's inside and radiate lines out of it like this. And then we can use insert edge loop tool, set it to equal, turn off autocomplete. All you have to do is just select all of the edges inside. It doesn't matter if the back edges are selected because we're going to be clicking on these and then dragging out. And it's good to be not symmetrical in this case, so I'm going to make different eyes like that. Let's do the same on this side. Whoops, I hate when it docks. What do we need? We need the insert edge loop tool. And then I'm going to select these vertices here and holding C, just middle drag. If you middle click on an edge and drag, you can spread these out a little bit. Like that. Alright, so I'm going to delete these edges that we actually put in. Like that. And then I'm going to select the eyes, the faces there. Make sure nothing in the back is selected. Click extrude. Extrude once, like that, and then extrude one more time, and then we'll use the blue scale here, holding control and scaling. Now you can try offset, but offset sometimes doesn't work that well, so I like to use the scale like this. And then from the side view, you can just move these. I'm going to convert, hold control, right click, and convert to vertices. So this will convert the selection to vertices, and then shift less than, which will shrink the selection to only the vertices on the inside. Then we can grab those and just move them back like that. Then I'm going to shift greater than, which will scale it back up. Right, and then I'm going to go into mesh and average, set this to 1, and just soften like that, and that'll just make them nice and soft. So then if we go in and click soften edge and actually look at the eye sockets, they look like that. So that's good. So now from the front view, what I want to do is I want to vary them so they're not so even, and also these are too round, so we're going to make them look like that. It's just really easy. I'm going to select this edge, press B to turn on soft select, and scale something like that. Move that down, select this one, that one, and I'm selecting these interior edges. And you can look at what I did there, just to kind of match. You can select more. And I'm not being very careful here because it doesn't matter. I want this to be imperfect and kind of like somebody made them by hand and didn't really pay attention too much. Just make them nice and quick. There. Okay, so now we need to make the jaws here. So for that, what we'll do is we'll use the faces that are here, which are these guys. Turn off soft select, like that, and then extrude down and scale the extrude. This will kind of make it nice and flat for us. Move it there, and do the same on this side. Oops. Okay, and now of course this doesn't look right, so let's go from the front view, and I'm going to scale this like that, that one like that, and then I'm going to select this edge loop here, this one, that, basically all of the edges around the base here, and scale these in. Then maybe scale it down like that, and same with this one. So I'm repeating the process, but I'm not being exact. That way they'll be different. That. Okay, and now I want to pull down the cheekbones. That. And you can see it's already starting to look kind of like what we want it. And this one. Okay. Alright, so now I want to add an edge loop. Turn autocomplete on. I want to add an edge loop here and one there. And also let's add one down here. Oops, there. Alright. And the next thing is that this is too square, so I'm going to turn on soft select a little bit and use, so basically I want to move it in Z and X at the same time, so I'm going to grab this green square and just slide it. Like that. There. Clear history, soften edge, clear history again. I'm going to freeze them, modify freeze, and then let's do the nose. So the way I did the nose here was I left pentagons, which is fine if you're going to subdivide. So we are going to subdivide, so let's do the nose. Basically, you want to start defining some geometry that you're going to use to create the nose. So if we delete these two, let's turn off soft select. You can see what we did is we created a place that we can extrude. So right now we only have a vertex here. So by using the cut tool, we can add a space like this. Maybe move these down a little bit. There. And then I'm going to use this, oopsie, to connect here. And from there we'll go there. So we'll create pentagons here, but that's okay because I want Maya to subdivide this. If I try and quad this up, it's going to add unnecessary geometry, but I know I'm going to be subdividing, and you can see it makes quads once you subdivide. But in the meantime, we don't want anything there. So I'm going to select the faces here, make sure nothing else is selected. Click extrude, scale like that, and then I'm going to scale using Y and Z, so I'm going to grab this guy. Okay, so let's see what we did there. So I'm going to select these vertices here, scale those, and basically you make the shape of the nose. We also don't need these guys. Now I have quads here. So I'm going to go from the side view, and I'm going to pull the vertices out to make the nose. Like that. Okay, there. And then for this line, we want this to be nice and kind of clean with the rest of the nose, so we need to make sure this is nice and curved in nicely, otherwise it won't look good. That. Extrude this. I'm going to go up like that. I'm going to select this and isolate it, so all I'm looking at is that. And then you can see the curvature here. We want to make sure we have this down nice and clean, and this will go like that. So I want it to be similar but different. I think that's different enough. And then we'll need to make one here as well. So that's gonna just more work. So let's do that. Okay, delete these guys. Alright, so let's see. I have to grab these vertices here, make sure nothing else is selected. Pull those out, that's the nose. Where's that? Oops, leave those. Let's bring these down a little bit. Okay, Okay, now we're going to select these faces here and then extrude. There. Okay, that's good. I also want to do some sculpting, so I'm going to select the sculpt brush and I'm going to use pull. Oops, too much. Basically, I just want to change the shape of the head a little bit. Give it more of a cranium in the back. Okay. Alright, so now let's do the teeth, like that. And it's going to be pretty simple. I want to have two big front teeth. I think that's going to look pretty cool. So the way the geometry is already built here, it's going to be actually very nice for us. So I'm going to select that. I'm going to select this one as well, because I can't select the geometry here, because if I extrude them, they'll all extrude together. I want this to be extruded together and this. So I'm going to extrude like that. I'm going to do offset a little bit. Maybe it's too much. Like that. Yep. And then I can select this and this and this and do the same. Extrude. Same amount, and then we'll do offset like that, and then the last one. Extrude, then offset. And then I'm going to select these vertices here. Actually, deselect that. I'm going to press R, hold D and snap to this vertex. That way I can scale. Like that. Now we can actually select these vertices, these edges here, move them up. There. And then the same on this one. Like that. So I'm using two faces on these and just one face on this. I'm using the bottom faces as well, because this gives you a nice bevel there. That. Whoops. Okay, so that messed up on that one. Okay, that's better. Extrude. Okay. Now we have 3 skull heads we can use as pins. You can see they're all slightly different. And then to add this hole on the bottom, that's really simple. I'm going to use this multi-cut tool, just same thing as I showed you guys before. You find out a vertex where the hole's going to be, and then just radiate out. Okay, and now we'll use the insert edge loop tool. Drag a selection. Oops, turn off autocomplete. And like that. And then select this vertex, hold Control, right click, two faces, and then extrude, and then scale down, extrude again, and delete. So select this vertex, control, right click, two faces, extrude, and extrude. And they'll actually be subdivided, so let's just do that right now. Click once, and this is what it looks like. And now there's no more pentagons, and they look pretty good to me. Nice and different. Clear history. Okay, those are done. So the next thing I want to do, I want to adjust the eyes. It'll be the last thing we do in this episode. So I'm going to select the eyes here, grow my selection so I have the whole interior selected. I'm going to press soft select just a little bit, like that. And then I'm going to maybe a little more. I'm going to scale the eyes. I think I need more soft select. Yeah. Like that. And then the same on this one. And you can see what that looks like. I think it looks way nicer. Nice and asymmetrical. Alright, we're getting to the end. We should be done soon. Then we'll throw a simple rig on it so we can pose them and send them off to 3D print. Alright, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode and subscribe and like. Thanks.